Armstrong at the Foreign Office had proved to be a rather less than intrepid traveller. This left Celia, who was no more experienced than he when it came to traversing the globe, to manage as best she could the challenging task of getting them, along with their mountain of baggage, from London to Egypt, via Gibraltar, Malta, Athens, and an unplanned stop in Rhodes, when their scheduled ship had failed to arrive, and much of their luggage had disappeared. For this, and for a plethora of other minor mishaps, which were the result of Celia's naive but plucky determination to get them in one piece to their destination, George blamed his wife. Damp sheets, or no sheets at all, poor wine, and much poorer food, insect bites and insect stings, nausea-inducing pitching seas and seas that were becalmed. George had borne none of these, with the equanimity Celia had so much admired in the man she had married. She put much of it down to the tribulations of travel, and maintained an optimistic outlook, which she had intended to be reassuring, but which seemed to have rather a contrary effect. "How can you be so damned jaunty?" George had demanded during one particularly uncomfortable crossing, memorable for its weevil-infested ship's biscuits and brandy-infested ship's captain. But what was the point in lying abed and bemoaning one's fate? Far better to be up on deck, watching hopefully for land and admiring a school of porpoises with comically smiling faces swimming alongside them. But George could not be so easily distracted, and eventually Celia had learned to keep her fascination for all things strange and colourful to herself. Foreign climes, or at least Eastern foreign climes, clearly did not agree with George's constitution. This was rather a pity, since fate had brought them here. To a clime so foreign, Celia had never even heard of it, and had been forced to ask one of the consuls in Cairo to point it out, on a rather large and complicated map, kept under lock and key in his office. Cadiz. Celia said the word experimentally under her breath. Impossibly exotic. It conjured up visions of closed courtyards and colourful silks, of spices and perfumes, the heat of the desert, and something darker and more exciting she could not put into words. She and her next sister, Cassandra, had read the Arabian Tales, 1001 Nights, in French, sharing an edited version with their 3 younger sisters, for some of the stories hinted at distinctly decadent pleasures. Now, here she was in Arabia, and it looked even more fantastic than she had imagined. Watching from the dhow, as the dots on the harbour became people and donkeys and horses and camels, as the distant buzz became a babble of voices, Celia wondered how on earth she would be able to convey to Cassie even a 10th part of what it actually felt like. If only Cassie were here with her, how much more fun it would be. As quickly as the very unwifely thought flashed through her mind, Celia tried hard to suppress it, an act rather more difficult than it should be. For though she had been married for exactly 3 months, 1 week and 2 days, she did not feel at all like a wife, or at least not at all as she had expected to feel as a wife. The match was of her father's making, but at 4 and 20, and the eldest of 5 motherless girls, 2 of whom were already of marriageable age, Celia had seen the sense in his proposal. George Cleveden was Lord Armstrong's protégé. He was well thought of, and great things were expected of him. "With a hostess like you at his side, he can't fail," Papa had said bracingly, when he'd first put forward the idea. "You've cut your teeth in diplomatic circles as my hostess, and a damned fine fist you've made of it. You can hold your own with the best of them, my girl, and let's face it, Celia, it's not as if you've your sister's looks. You take after my side rather than your mother's, I'm afraid. You're passable enough, but you'll never be a toast. And it's not as if you're getting any younger." Celia bore her father's casual assassination